is it about mini desserts that makes them so darn appealing? You know what I'm talking about, those little bites of sweetness that you can pop in your mouth in one go. Well, today on All Day I Dream About Food, we're going to have some fun with mini desserts. We're going to make my mini keto cheesecake bites. This is a wonderful, easy keto dessert recipe. These little cheesecake bites require no baking, and they're super easy to scale up or down depending on how many you need. You can also keep them in the freezer for any time you just crave a little sweet bite. So let's get started. So for this recipe, I recommend using silicone mini muffin cups. You can do it in a one big pan like this one, or you can use some of the individual little cups like these. You can use parchment paper as well, but I recommend putting it inside a proper mini muffin pan so that they hold their shape. The first step is to make some crust for our mini cheesecake bites. So I'm actually using half a cup of pecan flour. I really like the flavor it gives the cheesecake bites in the end, but you can use almond flour, you can use any kind of nut flour or seed flour, and you'll use it in the same amount. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of powdered swerve sweetener. You definitely want a powdered version here because you don't want your crust to feel gritty under your teeth. We'll also add just a little salt, about 1/8 of a teaspoon, and we can whisk those together. Then we're going to add 1.5 tablespoons of melted butter and whisk that in until our mixture begins to clump together. Next, we're going to take our mini muffin pan or our muffin cups, and we're going to add about a teaspoon of the mixture to the bottom of each. And once you've divvied up all the crust mixture, you just want to use your fingers to press it into each cup firmly and evenly, right into the bottom. And we can set aside our little crust for now and get working on the filling. Okay, the filling is super simple. We're just going to take 8 ounces of softened cream cheese, and we're going to beat that till it's smooth. And then we're going to beat in 1/3 cup of powdered swerve sweetener or some other powdered sweetener that you like. And you want to beat this till it's well combined. And it's always a good idea to scrape down the sides of your bowl and the bottom of the bowl to just make sure everything's mixing in nicely. Then we're going to add 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. You want it room temperature. You don't want it cold or it will make your cream cheese clump up again. And 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now feel free to go ahead and taste your filling mixture at this point. Because it's no bake, it has no eggs, and if you want to add a little extra sweetener, this is the time to do it. Okay, go ahead and grab your crusts again, and we're going to add about a tablespoon of filling on top of each crust. So I'm just going to use a little cookie scoop, but you can use any kind of spoon for that. And you can fill the mini muffin cups all the way to the top. And once you've dolloped filling all over the crusts, you want to take a little spoon and you want to spread the filling over and properly into each cup. Now, if you find that you're getting some funny little peaks at the top of your little mini cheesecakes, you can just wet your fingers a little and touch them down to smooth them out. Okay, our little cheesecake bites are ready for the freezer. You want to freeze them for at least 4 to 6 hours so that they firm up enough for you to pop them out of the silicone molds. Now I made a half batch of these cheesecake bites last night, so I can pop them out of this little mold and show you how to dip them in chocolate. When working with sugar-free chocolate, I always recommend melting it double boiler style with a heat-proof bowl set over a pan of barely simmering water. This makes it much less likely to seize. I also recommend adding a little cocoa butter. This helps the chocolate melt more thinly for dipping your truffles and your cheesecake bites or whatever you're dipping. So I have 4 ounces of sugar-free dark chocolate here. This is Lily's. You could also use chalk zero. And I'm going to add 3/4 of an ounce of cocoa butter. And we'll just set that over medium-low heat until it starts to melt. You really want to make sure that you're staying near your chocolate and you're stirring it frequently to make sure that it's melting nicely. And once it's all nice and melted, you're going to remove it from the heat immediately. You also want to take a baking sheet or a tray of some sort, and you're going to line it with wax paper or parchment paper. This is where you'll put the cheesecake bites once they're dipped in chocolate so that they can set. Okay, working with one cheesecake bite at a time, you're going to drop it in the chocolate, and you're going to quickly take 2 forks and toss it around a bit so that it doesn't melt too much, and then just lift it out and tap off the excess chocolate. And then you can just place it on your baking sheet and repeat. Okay guys, our cheesecake bites are all dipped and done. And the nice part about working with frozen things like this is that the chocolate sets almost immediately. So now we can take one of our little bites and we can take a bite. Look at that. Still a little cold, but it's wonderful. You have got to try these. You're going to love them. For this easy mini keto dessert recipe and so many more, please check out alldayidreamaboutfood.com.